It would be the perfect time of making this video. Well, I should have made it a lot earlier. Is what I should have did. But I think it's the right time to go ahead and make it now. I just been waiting for like a few days. It's not one of those big things I'm going to be talking about or whatever. But it's the importance of male and female, right? Man and woman. That's the way God made us. And I know some people are not going to like me saying male and male shouldn't be the thing and female shouldn't be the thing. Of course, that's not for me to say. I don't believe in it. I don't do it. I don't practice it. I'd rather be monogamous, whatever you want to call that, with another person of the opposite sex, and of course the right person of the opposite sex. The right woman in my case. But in that regard, it's been a while, so I'll just leave it at that. You know. So anyway, there's so many benefits though that you can study in science journals and stuff like that have men and women have toward one another. The release of cortisol, the release of testosterone in women, and some kind of thing in women. How comfortable a man feels when a woman relieves him, as far as rubs his back or whatever. What other stuff? I suppose I don't want to get deep into, and that might be kind of a little uncalled for. But that's all you hear is people from women say, "I have needs that need to be met." Yeah, men have needs that need to be met, and women have needs that need to be met, and it's not that we can't meet our own needs. It's just that we would rather have that relationship with somebody to help meet our needs, to help with that, to have that relationship with, and that's why I think sometimes it's just my opinion that the relationship that a man and a woman have with each other that's not just mechanical. That's just not something that you do to feel good, and having that relationship or helping you to be at your best, and kind of helping you feel good and releasing that cortisol, whatever that might be. It's just it's good for families. It's good for parents. It's good for those who have children to have the support of their spouse and everything, and to nurture them and everything. And even in the Bible, you see it talks about that. Yeah, all the time. I shampoo my eyebrows all the time. Even in the Bible, you see how it talks about men and women being together. Paul talks about it and everything for a time, and sometimes being apart for a time. And Paul says that the male doesn't have full control of his body. The woman does. The woman doesn't have full control of her body. The male does. So they give themselves, male and female give themselves to one another. And of course, too, that women are part of a man's ribs. So God took the rib from the flesh thereof and clothed it instead. And so it shows us that women are part of men, and they complete us, and everything, and we complete women. And it's an honorable thing, really. It's an awesome thing to know that God took the best parts of us, and whenever we meet that significant person in our life, that kind of rejoins us, that kind of puts us back together where we should be, and it just I can go on and everything. Hello, my name is Liz. How you doing? Let me see what your name is again. My name is Liz. That's all this rap going on. But anyway, it's an awesome thing. It really is awesome how God made male and female, how man and woman complete one another. You know what I mean? And of of course, you know, you can have all kind, like I said, you can have all kind of relationships with the same sex type of thing, with a male to male and female to female, but you don't get the same benefits as you would as if you were having a man and a woman. You know what I mean? Because men and a woman are made for one another. A woman has things that only a male can meet, and only a man has things only a woman can meet. You know, and we could go with the any outie kind of thing, you know, stuff like that. But a man is nurturing to a woman, and a woman's nurturing to a man. He needs a woman to feel good about himself, to encourage him to do the things he needs, and so a woman needs to be nurtured by a man, to be loved, to be cradled, to be appreciated, you know. And while a lot of women don't get into that and don't, or certain things of it, and neither do men, there are many out there that do, and there are many out there that need to have that final piece of themselves, to have that woman just like God designed. So I just think it's awesome, though, when you look in the Bible, especially in Genesis, how that God made them male and female, you know, and things like that, and how Paul talks about that, you know, if, you know, to come together for a time, and that, or even come to apart from, you know, separate for a time. But the male and the female seems just like it did in the Old Testament, and as well as the New Testament, seems to kind of go together with how God created us, how God made us two of one creation, two sexes, you know, because he made Adam first, and then from Adam he brought a woman. So bone of my bones, flesh of my flesh, you know, that's what he called Eve. So anyway, God made that for a purpose, and when people start going against God's purpose, it only brings about sickness, death, illness, whatever you want to call it, and it brings problems. It might bring gratification to some people. It might bring, oh, it feels so good to be, you know, have my needs met, you know, or emotionally, physically, mentally, what have you want to, or financially even, by somebody of the same sex, or even by somebody who's of the opposite sex, but that don't really, you know, there's some people that really don't really care affectionately, you know, they don't really understand where they got till it's gone, as far as a woman or a man's concerned, you know, the Miss Right. It's usually Mr. Wrong and Miss Wrong, you know what I mean? So anyway, it's like I said, it's really neat to have that special somebody in your life that means a lot to you, and you mean a lot to them, and that you can meet each other's needs, not just physically, not just emotionally, not just mentally, probably even spiritually too, knowing that that's what God created you for, that's what God designed you for, to be that fulfillment of that person's life, and they be a fulfillment to you, you know, and that you will work well together. You become one flesh, as it talks about in the Bible, and that you to do things that give God honor and glory, you know what I mean? So anyway, I just thought it might be pretty important to share, because like I said, I'm not trying to knock people who are same sex or whatever. That's none of my business. Whatever they want to do is totally up to them, but I don't think you get what you could get as if, unless you were with somebody of the opposite sex. Now, I'm not saying, like my niece, she has a partner or whatever, and I don't know what their relationship is together. She feels like that's the thing for them, and she loves her partner and everything. I don't have nothing against her, but you know, that's totally up to them. That's how they deal with it or whatever. You know, nobody knows how they feel about it but them. But it's not the same though when it comes to having that relationship, or having those needs, or those I don't know all the right words to say here, but everything that you could get from the benefit of with somebody of the same sex being their completion, you know, whether it's that man to woman or woman to man, whatever you want to call it, as opposed to man, a woman. You get the more completed version of God's intention when it's somebody of the opposite sex. When you truly can say, she is my equal, she is my everything, or he's my equal, he's my everything. He completes me. He makes me who I am. Without him, I am nothing. And you get together and you're all of one flesh. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. And there's more fulfillment in it, not only just for the people involved, but also for families, for children, because it helps the families that are involved in that see, the difference between mom and dad, but yet at the same time the unification, the unity that they have with each other and for each other. And that when children see a man taking care of his woman, or in this case a father nurturing their mother, that's something that male child or a female child will expect from a male child person, or a female, vice versa, or that a male child will learn by example to do to his future wife. It's train up a child in the way he should go, kind of thing. When they're older, they should not depart from it. It's the same thing. So not only are you teaching that child God's word, but you're also teaching by example. You know what I mean? You're teaching how God not only did he make male and female, but you're teaching that by an example of how a male should love his wife, and a wife should love her husband. Male to female, female to male. And that's the way God created it. That's the way he designed it. And he designed it for a purpose and intention. And I think most of all to show his relationship to the church, that Christ is the head, and that we are the body, things like that. So man is the head of his household, and the woman is the body. Without the body, you couldn't have a head. Without the head, you couldn't have a body. And they all go succinctly together. It's not so many people that say, well, I'm supposed to submit to him. No, it's not so much that. I think so many people take it out of context whenever that comes to that. They take things way out of context. It's not like, oh, my Lord, my master kind of thing. It's that you complete one another. And it's not so much that a woman's weaker, but or the fair sex. But that's not that she's weaker, but it's the way that God designed her. And that's like where, coming to the sports and stuff. There's this, women shouldn't compete in male sports. Males shouldn't compete in women's sports. They can't compete in women's sports. Why? Because they're not made that way. And there might be a woman out there who's pretty strong, she's pretty athletic, and she'll beat up a man in a heartbeat, but it won't be for every man. There might be a man out there who's pretty darn strong. A man is meant to be rugged and strong and things like that. That's the way he's built. But you might have a woman out there who might go out here and think, well, I'm going to be tougher than a man. I'm going to build my body up. I'm going to beat the shit out of somebody who thinks they're going to control me and tell me what to do. But that's not, their body is not meant for that, even though at times they could do that. They can make themselves so beefy and strong and muscular that they can punch the crap out of a man and knock him on the floor. But women are not supposed to, they are not built that way to intentionally be strong and rugged like men are. Now, I don't think you're supposed to go out here and supposed to put muscles upon muscles upon muscles and this, that, and everything on your body. But people go out here, they go to workouts and stuff, they go lifting weights, they go lifting that, because they don't get out there and do things like, we don't get out there and do things like we used to a long time ago, working out in the field or what have you, and where it was rugged work, and that we stayed healthy. So now we got to go to a gym or whatever and start running around the track or whatever and lift weights, because we don't do what we used to do. You know what I mean? So it's different now. So anyway, I don't know. I just thought I'd share that because there's so many things that we can learn from what it is for a man to have a woman and a woman to have a man. And how blessed it is to see. I mean, it really blesses me to see men and women coming together. It really blesses me to see how much devotion a man gives to a woman. It's a real blessing to just to even see that. And but when I see a man and a woman, I'm like, what fulfillment is that? You know, that's not fulfilling, but it really is fulfilling to come here and wherever I go to wherever that might be, and to see an older man and an old woman, a young man and a young woman, taking so much pride in each other, taking so much love and affection to one another, massaging one another, making each other feel good and strengthened and stuff. Well, that could be in bed, or that could be out in public. You know, they complete one another, and that's God's whole total original design, and that's what it was talking about in the Bible. And there are times when they just need to kind of, they're like, okay, we're going too crazy here. We love each other so much, we just kind of overdoing it. We need to take a break, not from each other, but we need to take a break from the things we do in the bed, but not never socially. No, but when it comes to, procreation and stuff, or on that line or whatever, you might need to take a break, stuff like that. But anyway, I just thought I'd make this kind of speaking on those terms and everything. And so I hope y'all enjoyed it and everything. Maybe you will, maybe you won't, I don't know. But that's the way I feel about it. That's the way I feel like it's good to stay within God's creation. It's more rewarding. It's more fruitful. It's more beneficial. And some people might say, well, I get off just the same. I get just the same reward and benefits from my same-sex partner than I would have for a woman. Okay, well, that's totally up to you. But when it comes to families, when it comes to training people up in the way of the Lord, that's going to be a different story. That's not that you are commanded to do that. If you don't want to listen to what God tells you and reap the benefits of what the Lord has for you, that's totally up to you, and that's between you and Him. But anyway, just thought I'd share this with you, and I hope you enjoy it. And I'm going to get off here and get on toward the house. We'll see y'all later. God